An ancient Egyptian proverb tells us, "Before the tongue formed its first sound, fingers were already dancing truths. In their curves are written prayers without words. In their movements reside nameless magics." The universe speaks in many languages: mathematics, geometry, light. But perhaps its most intimate dialect is written upon your very hands. What if I told you that the 10 fingers you possess are not merely appendages of flesh and bone, but sacred instruments designed to channel, manipulate, and harmonize with the very forces that govern existence itself? Ancient adepts understood a profound truth. Our hands are living tablets inscribed with the divine alphabet of creation. The knowledge I'm about to share with you has been carefully guarded for millennia, preserved in secret chambers of temples, whispered between master and disciple, encoded in arcane manuscripts that few eyes have beheld. The Pythagoreans called it chironomia, the sacred science of hand gestures, a forbidden mathematics that transforms the human hand into a living antenna for cosmic forces. This is not mere superstition or folklore. It is an exacting science of proportions, angles, and energetic correspondences that the ancient mystery schools considered too powerful to reveal to the uninitiated. Why has this knowledge been so carefully concealed throughout the ages? Because those who truly master the divine alphabet of the fingers hold keys to unlocking dormant abilities within the human vessel, abilities that transcend ordinary perception and connect us directly to the mathematical substrate of reality itself. As we journey together through this revelation, I invite you to look at your hands with new eyes. For what you possess is not simply a tool for manipulating the physical world, but a cosmic instrument, a living talisman that, when properly understood, becomes a bridge between worlds visible and invisible. The quest to understand the mystical significance of hands stretches back to humanity's earliest spiritual awakenings. Cave paintings dating back 30,000 years show handprints and specific finger configurations that archaeologists now believe were not merely decorative, but served as initiatory markers and energetic signatures. In ancient Egypt, the science of sacred hand postures, or mudras as they would later be called in the East, formed a cornerstone of temple practice. The hieroglyphic symbol of the hand represented creative power, and initiate priests of the temples of Thoth were instructed in precise finger positions that corresponded to specific deities and cosmic principles. The ka gesture, hands raised with palms facing outward, was understood not as mere symbolism, but as a technological interface for interacting with subtle energy fields. The Pythagorean Brotherhood, founded in the 6th century BCE, developed perhaps the most sophisticated mathematical understanding of the hand's cosmic significance. Pythagoras, who had studied in both Egypt and Babylon, recognized that the human hand embodied critical numerical ratios that mirror the harmonic structures of the cosmos. Within his mystery school at Crotona, advanced initiates learned that specific finger positions created geometric configurations that resonated with planetary spheres. The Pythagoreans understood that the hand, when properly positioned, becomes a living pentagram, a microcosmic reflection of the macrocosmic order. The Kabbalistic tradition preserved these teachings within the esoteric interpretations of the Hebrew letter Yod, which not only represents the hand, but is considered the fundamental building block of all other letters in the divine alphabet. The Sefer Yetzirah, or Book of Formation, describes how the 10 fingers correspond to the 10 Sephiroth of the Tree of Life, the fundamental emanations through which divine energy manifests into physical reality. These teachings were further preserved within the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, where adepts studied the formula of the magic hand, precise gestures that, when combined with visualization and proper breath work, could direct subtle energies for healing, protection, and spiritual communion. Samuel Little MacGregor Mathers, one of the order's founders, wrote in his private papers that the properly configured hand becomes a living talismanic instrument, more powerful than any fashioned object, for it combines physical geometry with the animating force of will. Even within certain branches of Sufism, particularly the Naqshbandi order, specific hand positions were taught as means of attuning to divine attributes or sifat. The Sufi master Jalaluddin Rumi alluded to this practice when he wrote, "The hand has 5 fingers, but when it becomes a fist, it becomes one. Our journey is to find that unity within multiplicity. These traditions, though diverse in their cultural expressions, shared a common understanding. The human hand, with its unique structure and proportions, represents a perfect mathematical instrument designed to interact with subtle dimensions of reality. This knowledge was preserved through unbroken chains of oral transmission, often concealed behind more public religious practices and symbols. As the 15th century Renaissance scholar Marsilio Ficino wrote in his translations of the Corpus Hermeticum, the wise one knows that the hand is not merely an instrument of action, but a diagram of cosmic principles, its proportions reflecting the divine measures by which the universe itself was fashioned. To truly comprehend the power of the divine hand alphabet, we must first understand that according to ancient wisdom, our hands are not merely physical appendages but energetic matrices, living mandalas that connect us to the organizing principles of existence itself. Let us examine each finger in detail. The thumb represents the element of ether or spirit, the quintessence from which all other elements emerge. Geometrically, the thumb embodies the principle of the circle, complete, whole, and without beginning or end. This is why traditional palmistry associates the thumb with willpower and essential character. The thumb's unique opposable position allows it to touch all other fingers, symbolizing spirit's ability to interact with and animate all elements. The thumb corresponds astronomically to the sun, the central life-giving force. As acknowledged by the 17th century physician and occultist Robert Flood, the thumb stands as the solar king among the fingers, governing and vitalizing all others through its touch. The proportional relationship between the thumb's two phalanges approximates the golden ratio, the fundamental growth pattern found throughout nature. When the thumb is extended alone, it creates what the Hermetic tradition calls the pillar of will, a direct channel for intention to manifest into the physical realm. The index finger embodies the element of air and the principle of direction and authority. Geometrically, it corresponds to the straight line, the shortest distance between 2 points, and the symbol of direct action. This finger resonates with the energy of Jupiter, the planet of expansion, authority, and divine law. As Agrippa noted in his 3 books of occult philosophy, the index finger was used by ancient priests to direct energy during ceremonial workings. The index finger contains precisely 3 phalanges, representing the 3 gunas or qualities of nature in Vedic philosophy: rajas, activity; tamas, inertia; and sattva, harmony. When extended while other fingers are folded, it creates what Kabbalists call the finger of Chokshma, the directing force of divine wisdom penetrating into matter. The proportion between the middle and distal phalanges corresponds to the square root of 2, the fundamental ratio of a diagonal to the side of a square, symbolizing the bridge between dimensions. The middle finger, the longest of all digits, represents the element of fire and the principle of balance and justice. Geometrically, it embodies the vertical axis, the connection between above and below. This finger corresponds to Saturn, the planet of boundaries, structure, and time. The 16th century alchemist Paracelsus referred to the middle finger as the digitus medius Saturni, Saturn's mediating digit through which cosmic order is established in the microcosm of the hand. The middle finger's length creates the central axis from which the hand's proportional system is measured. In sacred geometry, this finger represents the world pillar or axis mundi. When extended alone, it forms what the Pythagoreans called the Tower of Kronos, a configuration used to disperse negative energies and establish energetic boundaries. The ratio between the middle finger's length and the width of the palm approximates pi, connecting it to circular and cyclical phenomena. The ring finger embodies the element of water and the principle of harmony and beauty. Geometrically, it corresponds to the wave pattern, fluid, rhythmic, and connecting. This finger resonates with the energy of Venus, or in some traditions, the sun. The ancient Roman naturalist Pliny the Elder noted that Egyptian physicians believed a nerve or vein connected this finger directly to the heart, which is why wedding rings are traditionally worn here, to establish a direct connection to the emotional center. The ring finger's limited independent movement symbolizes how beauty and harmony often require integration with other principles to manifest fully. When extended while other fingers are folded, a difficult gesture for most people, it creates what alchemists called the ray of Apollo, a configuration believed to attune the practitioner to healing frequencies and artistic inspiration. The proportion between the ring finger and the little finger often exhibits the Fibonacci sequence, connecting it to organic growth patterns found throughout nature. The little finger represents the element of earth and the principles of communication and adaptation. Geometrically, it corresponds to the spiral, compact yet potentially infinite. This finger resonates with Mercury, the planet of communication, commerce, and mediation between realms. The Renaissance magician Giordano Bruno described the little finger as the diplomat among digits, capable of reaching spaces inaccessible to others. The little finger's smaller size belies its importance. It provides crucial stability and precision to the hand's grip. When extended alone while other fingers are folded, it forms what the Japanese Kujikiri tradition calls zai, a mudra for manifesting abundance and drawing down celestial influences into material form. The ratio between the little finger and the total hand length often corresponds to the fifth harmonic interval in music, the perfect fifth, connecting it to principles of harmonious communication. The relationships between fingers create a complex matrix of sacred geometry. When all 5 fingers are extended, they form a natural pentagram, the 5-pointed star that has represented the integration of the elements since ancient times. The distance between fingertips when the hand is fully splayed forms a precise geometric progression that the Pythagoreans correlated with musical intervals. As the 12th century mystic Hildegard von Bingen wrote in her Liber Divinorum Operum, Book of Divine Works, the hand of man is a miracle of divine proportion, each finger a ray of celestial influence, together forming a living instrument of cosmic harmony. Beyond individual fingers, the hand itself contains remarkable mathematical properties. The human hand possesses exactly 27 bones, a number of profound significance in multiple esoteric systems. 27 is 3 Kree, representing the manifestation of Trinity across 3 dimensions of space. The proportional relationship between the 3 phalanges of each finger approximates the 3-6-9 ratio that Nikola Tesla later identified as the key to the universe. Now we turn to the practical application of this ancient science: how to use your hands as living instruments for channeling and directing universal energies. I will guide you through specific configurations that have been preserved in esoteric lineages for millennia. The Cosmic Receiver Configuration. Begin by sitting in a comfortable position, spine erect but not rigid. Place both hands on your knees, palms facing upward. Extend your thumb, index finger, and little finger while folding your middle and ring fingers toward your palm. This ancient configuration, known in some traditions as the celestial antenna, creates an energetic circuit that enhances receptivity to subtle cosmic influences. As you maintain this position, focus your attention on your breath. Inhale slowly for a count of 4, hold briefly, then exhale for a count of 6. Envision a luminous current entering through the crown of your head, flowing down your spine, and circulating through your extended fingers. This practice is optimally performed during the hour before dawn or the hour after sunset, periods known as sandhya or junction points, when the veil between physical and subtle realms is naturally thinner. The pentagrammic integration. For this more advanced practice, begin by extending all 5 fingers of your right hand. With focused attention, touch each fingertip in sequence: thumb to index, thumb to middle, thumb to ring, thumb to little finger, forming a living pentagram. As you connect each finger, mentally intone the corresponding elemental quality: ether, thumb; air, index; fire, middle; water; and earth, little. This sequence creates what the Hermetic tradition calls the sealed circuit, a complete energetic loop that harmonizes all 5 elemental forces within your being. Practice this daily for 10 to 15 minutes, preferably during the waxing phase of the moon, to gradually enhance your capacity to direct subtle energies. The Pythagorean tetractys. This profound configuration requires both hands. With your left hand, touch the tip of your thumb to the tip of your index finger, forming a circle. This represents the monad, the point of primordial unity. With your right hand, touch your thumb to your middle finger, creating the dyad, the principle of polarity and relationship. Hold both hands before you at heart level, visualizing a stream of golden light connecting them. This forms what Pythagoras called the living tetractys, a configuration that embodies the sacred decad, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 10, the number considered by Pythagoreans to contain the full spectrum of universal principles. Maintain this position while breathing deeply and rhythmically, allowing your awareness to expand beyond ordinary perception. With consistent practice, this technique can enhance intellectual clarity and intuitive insight. For each of these practices, the position of your hands is only the external component. The internal aspects, your concentration, breath, and visualization, are equally crucial. As the Hermetic axiom states, as above, so below, as within, so without. The external configuration of your fingers creates a resonant pattern that must be matched by your internal state. These powerful practices come with important caveats. The ancient adepts understood that energetic work of this nature requires proper preparation and respect. First, consider the appropriate environment. These practices are best performed in a clean, quiet space, free from electronic disturbances. Natural materials like wood, stone, or clay around you will enhance rather than impede the subtle energetic circuits being established. Second, timing is significant. The Pythagoreans particularly valued the periods of sunrise, noon, sunset, and midnight, what they called the hinges of the day, as optimal times for these practices. The phases of the moon, too, influence their efficacy. Waxing moon phases enhance generative and expansive workings, while waning phases support release and purification. Third, approach these techniques with reverence and proper intention. The configurations I've shared are not mere physical exercises, but sacred geometries that connect you to fundamental cosmic principles. Enter into them with clarity of purpose and ethical consideration. As the Emerald Tablet cautions, what you send forth returns threefold. Fourth, be attentive to your bodily responses. You may experience sensations of warmth, tingling, or subtle pulsation in your hands. These are normal indications of energetic activation. However, if you experience dizziness, headache, or unusual heart palpitations, gently discontinue the practice and return to normal breathing. Finally, consistency rather than intensity yields the most profound results. A daily practice of 10 to 15 minutes will produce more significant transformation than occasional extended sessions. The ancient wisdom traditions understood that subtle change, accumulated over time, leads to the most stable transformation. Throughout history, masters of various traditions have left accounts of the transformative power of these hand sciences. The Greek philosopher Iamblichus, in his work on the Mysteries, described how Pythagorean initiates could draw down celestial influences through properly configured hands, creating harmony between the cosmic spheres and the human instrument. The 12th century Sufi master Ibn Arabi documented his experiences with specific finger positions in his monumental work, The Meccan Revelations, noting that the properly positioned hand becomes transparent to divine light, allowing it to flow unimpeded into the manifest realm. In more recent times, the Russian esotericist P.D. Ouspensky wrote of his experiences with these techniques. After 3 months of daily practice, I began to perceive geometric patterns underlying ordinary objects, as if seeing the mathematical matrix upon which physical reality is constructed. The revered yoga master T. Krishnamacharya, who lived to the age of 100, attributed his longevity partly to his daily practice of specific mudras. His student B.K.S. Iyengar later wrote, "The hands, when properly positioned, become instruments of transformation, directing prana with mathematical precision throughout the subtle body."